Hello, hello, Facebook world. Seeing as always if we are live. Oh yeah. Hello, hello, everyone. Let me know as you're hopping on. Say hi, drop a comment. I'm so excited for our guest tonight and the conversation we're going to have, as always, shifting the norm, shifting what people are typically connecting to, shifting into a society that helps everyone to be healthy, and also recognizing how powerful we actually are from within. Because how often do we forget that? We're always looking externally. I can't tell you how many times I've had to remember that and be like, oh yeah, wait a second. I'm the one that creates my vibration. I'm the one that chooses my emotions and energy. So hey, say hi as you're hopping on. And I'm going to open this so I can see the comments as I'm going along. As I'm going along. It's always super trippy when I hear myself and I'm doing this at the same time. So my name is Lindsay Amico. As many of you know, this is Card Pulls and Coffee. I forgot I should do my intro. I'm super profesh, as you can tell. Let me do my intro. Hi, Jill. Hi, Josh. Hi, Cheryl. So good to see all of you. Let me just pop my intro in real quick.
Love chatting about spiritual awakening? Want to learn more about connecting with source energy and allowing the universe to act on your behalf? Well, grab a beverage and welcome in the weekend with Lindsay every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. on her show, Card Pulls and Coffee, as she channels messages from the divine realm or chats with a guest. Lindsay is a mindset coach, intuitive channel, and energy clearing practitioner. If you're feeling stagnant, overwhelmed, or full of self-doubt, Lindsay will guide you to come back to remembering who you really are. Join Lindsay here on WLFE DB Radio.
Hello, hello. I always forget to do that. When I say always, this is week 4 of the show, so I guess I'll get the hang of it at some point. Say hi as you're hopping on. This is the radio show. I am a mindset coach. I talk about connecting to your higher power, connecting to the universe, really controlling more of our thoughts and understanding that our thoughts create our feelings, actions, and results. I have guests on so we can talk about how we can really shift into our desired reality and start to talk about limiting beliefs and programming and things that society has put on us, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, moving beyond our trauma, moving beyond our stories, moving beyond things that really don't serve us, and recognizing we can create whatever reality we want to create. So say hi as you're hopping on. I have a beautiful guest tonight that I'm about to introduce. And just so you know, we're going to be chatting about our topic, the power from within. And as you're on, ask for a card pull. I'm happy to pull you a card. You can tell me about what you want to know or just have it general. Tag someone in the comments so that they can see this show and they can share it with others. If you share or comment or ask for a card pull, you'll be entered to win a mini reading one-on-one with me. And drum roll. Last week's winner is Nikki Lloyd Morrison. So congratulations, Nikki. Love you so much. Thank you for supporting the show. So happy that we met via the interwebs. You are the winner. So we'll have to touch base after this so we can get that set up. Anything else? Please follow, like, and share. You can go to WLFE-DB.com to also see the reruns of this. Make sure you like them on Facebook. They're the network that hosts the show. So without any further ado, I am going to introduce my guest, Krista.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Krista. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
My pleasure. I'm so excited.
And I'm so excited that we get to chat. So we actually met through a women's mastermind with Sue and Sierra at her sanctuary. They run a beautiful store on Hurdle in Buffalo, and they brought us together, and it was so powerful, and we were able to form a relationship. And I just remember you saying that you had this fear of being seen.
Yes. And so I love your energy, and I loved our workshop as long as we could have kept it going. Yeah. And, that power within that we're going to discuss is just so yearning. And I feel I'm not alone. But it was so strong in me, and I feel we shut it up. Our minds take over of this inner knowing, and yes, and so that fear, of being out there and speaking my truth or for anybody, is terrifying.
It is.
So I think there's so much fear. So I'm loving what you're doing, and I'm so happy and honored to be a part of your show, and to have met you. And of course, trusting the universe had brought us together when we were supposed to. So I love it all.
As always, and thank you so much. Yeah, and everyone that's watching right now, since this is one of her first times, I think, doing a live, and that you're being seen, like, send some comments and send some support. And like, we all have this fear. Every single one of us, myself included. It is so ingrained in us. And I love that we're facing this fear together. I love that we're talking about the things that we believe in. And I don't know about you, but like, I feel like this is my true purpose work. So every time we can face that fear, beyond that, it's huge.
And I think that the fear is our teacher, all the discomfort or triggers, that's exactly where we need to go. But it's so easy to stay comfortable or take the back seat and just next week, like I was just saying to you before we started, postponing, and you don't grow that way. Unfortunately, it's easy. It takes more strength to feel that discomfort. And that's what you're feeling within that we ignore. And I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but that creates a disconnect, and anxiety, depression, the physical body represents all that, which we'll get into. So it is hard, but that's exactly what that feeling, you need to go in that direction.
It's like we want to ignore the feeling. Whenever it's a not good feeling emotion, our instinct is to be like, I'm going to push that down. I'm going to ignore that. I'm afraid of that. I know for me, I have personally had anxiety, depression. I've actually had anxiety since I feel like the moment I was born. And it's so, when that comes up, it's that terrifying fear of like, how long is this going to last? And it's not rational. And it's so immediate to be like, I'm going to ignore that because I can't deal with it. And then it causes more issues.
And that's it. Me too. I mean, I feel like I've lived with anxiety, these worries, more of, that being seen and what people think, and then our mind, that's our mind, the monkey mind, or the busy, the noise, I call it. But our soul, our inner knowing, it's almost like a fight between the two, a conflict, there's no flow. And then a whole slew of things can, escalate. But it's hard to listen to that lately, but we're built in with it, and it should be so innate.
It's our biological state. And I know that's why I got into the work that I do, because I was like, oh, wait a second, I'm not my thoughts. I'm not those anxious thoughts. I have anxious thoughts. I have predisposition towards genetic things. I have trauma. I have systems, really neural pathways. I've traveled for a long time. And then I have habits of thoughts, but I am not any of those things. I am actually completely separate, which was huge. So wait, let's back up for one hot second.
I know, we're getting really...
Who are you?
So, well, thank you. My name is
Oh,
Krista Rivet.
jumping right into it. So who are you? And
I'm
what do
Krista.
you do?
So I am a classical homeopath, and I'll get into explaining what that is because I feel there's such a misunderstanding of what that is. And with that, I've added some other trainings, and similar to you, like tapping in, and I've used modalities. I'm not trained in them, but which I'd love to share to help connect to this inner wisdom. And so homeopathy is a form of medicine that actually uses this deep innate wisdom. So it stimulates this deep internal power that we have to do the healing, which we'll dive into again. But so that, it's almost like it brings everything, we look at life so separately, the outside in thing that we were discussing, and our bodies and our symptoms are an outward expression of something deeper, which we've been discussing, that disconnect. And so being a homeopath, that's what I'm practicing with other modalities of self-awareness and self-love, which is a combination with what you're doing. And, it stimulates your own power to heal the body. And so that's my study, that's what I've studied. So that's classical homeopathy. But yeah, I've been studying with the Heart Math Institute, which I love, and I can't wait to start sharing more. And I love the combination with that. Pardon?
That connection to the heart.
Yes.
And I want to get into that too, if we have time, because I have personally heard of that, and being able to measure our radiance and what we put out into the world through the connection to love. So that's huge.
Yeah. And so again, it's connected. Homeopathy is the only type of medicine that works on that same plane. So it's not, we'll get into it, I guess. I don't want to get too far ahead of where we are. But so when you create the self-awareness that you are more than your body and you're more than your mind, we've just been taught for so long that our mind controls everything. But it's really, the heart is developed before the brain in utero. And, you start studying this, and it emits an electromagnetic field, and it sends more messages to the brain than the brain does to the heart. So I just feel like there's no education in this, and we're not taught this. And even now we're being led almost farther, learning about our true power and the amazingness that's around us in nature, and that knowingness that we see every day, in nature. So we have that, but we just we're not aware. And then as we grow and evolve, we're so brought farther from that, with society, like you were saying, the thoughts that have been programmed and layered upon us. I always call them like stories, that we identify with. And so I love, what you're doing in therapy and all these other modalities to create that awareness. And then you bring homeopathy in, and it's the medicine that helps actually dislodge these stuck traumas. So the combination is synergistic, and it's profound, and it's changed my life. And, I can share how I came across that, I guess, too.
I would love, that was literally my next question. So hi, as everyone's hopping on. It's interesting. I'm seeing, it's probably because people are viewing in different places, but it's totally fine. I'm seeing a lot of comments on both my phone and here. So if you are on and you would like a card pull, please let me know. Thus far, I have Cheryl, and I think that's the only person that wanted a card pull so far. So Cheryl, I put you on the list. Everyone else say hi as you're hopping on. And tell me now, what led you into this realm? Because I think a lot of people have heard of holistic coaching and potentially holistic healing, but maybe not homeopathy. So how did you get pulled into this?
Well, I guess to explain maybe what it is, it took me so long even to understand what it is, because again, we've been taught how the body works. We look at symptoms as the problem. And so it is holistic. It's a holistic modality, which means you're looking at whole. You're not just looking at the physical body or it's combining the mental, emotional with the physical body. Right. And so I had questioned, growing up like you, always sought more and questioned, like always would look up at the stars and, what is out there? Like just so inquisitive and so connected with nature. And just my mind was just, I'm just innately like that. Oh, I question. I like to ask questions. Wanting to know. Yeah.
You have also talked to me about human design, and that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah. We'll get there because I would like to share at the end the modalities that helped me even become so self-aware, because struggling with anxiety and depression even, and questioning and holding back. Like, so we'll do that maybe after and share all those things.
I just have to say that I have a line about the mysteries of the universe and being super inquisitive about that. So maybe we have that in common, but it's like all the things, please.
Yeah. It's so amazing. There's just so much. We could talk probably for 5 hours easily. So when my
always wondered, continue.
Pardon?
Continue. Sorry.
So yeah, I've always had questions, and I always fascinated. I knew from a young age I wanted to be a doctor. Like I just didn't even think anything else. It was either a veterinarian, a doctor, maybe a pharmacist. It was always something in medicine and health. And as I grew, I don't know, I never pursued that. I went to university, I studied psychology. The mind was always obviously the big, like the psychological part. I traveled a lot with my husband. And so I didn't do that. And it kind of didn't, I don't know, I guess it just didn't, at the time it was my gut, I guess, but I wasn't self-aware. I was not connected and I was not self-aware. But anyway, so fast forward a little bit when we had children. My second child, who's now almost 17, when he was born, like at age 1 and 2, had chronic ear infections. So it was, at the time it felt like chronic ear infections, but now I realize it was basically one big one that just never went away. So it was antibiotic after antibiotic and fluid and congestion. He couldn't hear. His adenoids were big, like that, that picture that a lot of us.
I had the
and
exact
so, I would just do what I was told. But my mind was like, but why is he getting these? And why is his body making that fluid? So they never had the answer. And of course I wanted that answer. So I'm like, okay, why though? But I was told, and I actually in my blog too, which maybe we can share, I share all this story, but that the answer I got was that's the $1 million question. And so right there, I'm like, okay, that's not good for me. I'm like, that's the answer I'm getting from these specialists? Like, come on. So the answer was tubes, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and that's treating the symptom. That's the outside in. And so, of course, I didn't like that. So I researched because I wanted to know why his body made that. And my daughter, who was 1.5 years older, she didn't have any of that. So it's like, what is going on in him? Like there's something in him that created that. So that's how I found homeopathy. So, and I honestly don't remember how I actually came across it, because I had never heard of it, or I probably thought it was home remedies, or which I can explain more exactly what it is. But that's how I found it. So I found a local homeopath here. We had just moved to Buffalo at the time. So we've been living here for about 13 years. And I went to see her, and he had a severe ear infection, ended up being MRSA, like MRSA, which of course I can share more, and it's on my blog too, the anxiety I felt. I was in a very different place. So extremely like, oh my God, he's going to die, like terrified, and Googling, and just the mind going crazy. So I was like terrified. So I brought him to her, and she assessed him, and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, why is she asking like what ice cream he likes, or what he likes and what time he goes to bed? I'm like, it just didn't make sense. And now it makes sense. But anyway, she prescribed this remedy, and I gave it to him, and he had, just the symptoms of this particular ear infection. The next morning, it was completely gone. His mood was completely changed. I could not believe it. I was like, what is this? I need to learn more about this. So I did. And so I enrolled in the Canadian College of Homeopathic Medicine in Toronto, and did that. And it was a 3-year degree. It took me about 5 or 6 being, a mom. And so that's how I found it. It was completely life-changing, and I've never looked back. And I was terrified, because I thought, oh my God, and I didn't give him anything that I was recommended. And I was like, oh my God, what if it's like I did something wrong? But anyway, I brought him to the doctor, and he's like, this looks amazing. Completely gone, all cleared up. So I've never looked back.
And it's so magical. And I have to tell you, I went through the exact same thing when I was little. My mom was constantly taking me to the doctors. I had strep throat constantly. I had tubes. I know my husband had tubes.
It's so common. Yeah.
Constant. And it is. And this is wonderful that I know you, because whenever we have kiddos, I'll be able to have that. I'll be able to work with you on that. And that's
absolutely.
Were you like shocked? Were you like, how is this even, like, it's magic?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what I thought. And then I started to learn, and I learned, I'm like, no, it's not magic. We are.
Yes.
We have the power, where antibiotics and traditional meds, either you're taking them forever or it's just removing a symptom. But that symptom has been created by that powerful force, that light. We call it a vital force in homeopathy. So that life force, like that energy that's keeping your heart beating. Like that's how I think. And like, what is making our heart beat? Like, what is that? Like, there's an energy flowing through us. So homeopathy is a medicine that works at that level. It's so deep and it's so healing and it's so safe because it's stimulating your own vital force to heal and uproot. So, I fell in love, and so it's really not that it's magical, because it's really we are. Yeah. And so the more, and then of course my world expanded and grew more, and diving into more, the power that we have and our connection to the universe and our frequency, our vibes literally transmit out there, and we're just getting to the tip of learning about that. The Heart Math Institute science, like there's so much science in that, which I know a lot of people want. So that's a great resource. It's not homeopathic by any means, but it's just about the power of the heart, and that same power that flows through us that keeps your heart beating is that same power that homeopathy works on. And so it's almost like nanomedicine or quantum healing, like quantum physics. So it's amazing. And so, again, to share more a little bit of homeopathy, because I feel people probably still are confused, it's not a home remedy. And the word home actually, or homo, means same. And so it's like treats like. So you put in a remedy that matches the symptoms you're experiencing. So in a healthy person, for an example, if you gave them a remedy that they didn't need, they would start experiencing a symptom, like we call it proving. And so that's those same symptoms that someone's actually sick with, like a cold, for an example, if you were healthy and you gave a remedy, you might start getting a runny nose and burning eyes. So then we know that remedy is what will match if you actually do have that stuffy nose and burning eyes, if that makes sense. So it's like treats like. So that's kind of the foundation of how it works. And it's not the same as naturopathy. Like, I feel like everybody's like, oh yeah, I've tried homeopathy. I've done vitamin D and cod liver oil. I'm like, that's not homeopathic. That's naturopathic. So it's a branch of naturopathy. If you go to a naturopath, they know a little bit of homeopathy and they may use it. But again, they're still treating the physical body with natural things. Whereas homeopathy, I've specialized, so that's all I do. And you're treating it at an energetic plane. So it's two different planes. So it's profound and it's so safe. It's amazing because it's working at your energetic level. So it can't interact with any other medications or, there's no side effects. So it's amazing.
So Jill has a question. Hi, Christy. So Jill says, I agree homeopathy makes total sense, but it didn't work for our son's ADHD. We had to switch to traditional meds, amphetamine, with success, but I worry about the long-term effects on him. Do you have anything to share?
So again, each homeopath, when you see a homeopath, you assess. So it's usually 60 to 90 minutes. So we're treating you. So not, like, for an example, not the ADHD. So that's like many kids, are experiencing that, or, strep throat, even like a chronic case or whatever it may be. We don't treat that. We treat the person. So with ADHD, it's not like one size fits all. So each homeopath will assess and pull out, we call them rubrics or symptoms, what's of importance, and we match that to the remedy. So perhaps that wasn't the right remedy. Each homeopath may see the case differently, and that's where follow-ups are extremely important. So sometimes, I've had a case a few cases where the remedy was amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, life-changing. Thank you so much. And it's so rewarding. And then other times it's a commitment. So it takes time, that it might not have been the right remedy, or they were taking it not frequently enough or too frequently, or it wasn't the right potency. So there's different levels of strength, I guess, like potency. And again, it's so unique and so individual to the person. And that's this, like, and everyone is so different. Like, it's literally your vibration and your frequency within you that resonates with the remedy. And so for somebody extremely sensitive, they may need a lower potency and less often. Other people might need it. So that's where you have to feel. So I don't know that particular case. How long it was, or if it was a year and nothing happened, or if it was only like a month, I don't, you'd have to know more specifics, but eventually, there's, it could have just been the wrong one. I don't know.
You said maybe it was naturopathy now that you explained the difference.
Oh, so naturopath definitely would be herbs and supplements, probably taking stuff every day. It's just, it all has its place. And I think they can work synergistically, like I said, because the physical body is so important. But a homeopathic remedy, it would have like a number, like a 30C or a 200C beside it. And you would take it probably once every 2 weeks, and that's it. So you wouldn't be taking like pills and stuff ever. That's more naturopath approach. But both can be amazing together, because the physical body is clearly important, to nourish it with foods and supplements and all that. But it's different. It's shifting your energy, and back to the trauma and all that. Like my love is working. I love working with children and everybody, but psychological, because it's so deep, like it's literally stuck energy. And so when you were doing your intro, I loved it, because homeopathy is the medicine that gets to that can help dislodge that. So then your belief system you're more self-aware, and you can almost stop those stories, and your perception shifts. Like because I see a homeopath for myself, because it's too hard to treat, I think I'm every remedy, but, and my kids, you read it and it's like, oh my God, that's me. So then I'm like, no. So I see one too. And I felt the difference with my husband, my children. It's amazing. It's just, until you feel the difference and experience it, it's hard to believe, because it's so deeply shifting.
And I think the other thing is too, and I'm going to hop into some card pulls, but I think the other thing is too, that we are so programmed in so many ways, whether it's the news, whether it's, as you know, it's everything in our lives. And I think part of it is like, I just want to fix, just like an Amazon package in the mail, like anyone, and especially if you're in pain. So I think that's really where the power has come from, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry. We could go into so many things, but the power is here. Let me help you to feel better. But then there's all of these other healing modalities. And I do believe too, that everything can flow, everything can have a place. The bottom line is feel good, but it's like, we're not even willing, I think, to open up sometimes, because we're so indoctrinated.
Exactly. No, you totally nailed it. And again, that's outside in living. So obviously to truly heal, you need to heal from the inside out, because coming at your symptoms, we view symptoms as messengers. They're gifts, but the current society and medical system looks at symptoms as a problem.
It's a problem.
So homeopathy is inside out healing, but we also have to have that awareness shift of inside out living. Exactly. We keep seeking and searching and wanting someone to come fix us. And that's, you could go into like addictions, or we're seeking for that feeling we want to feel, that someone needs to do it for us, because it's so uncomfortable to sit and feel what might come up, to do our own healing. And it's hard work. Everyone's so busy. It's like, I'm too busy. I'm tired. I don't have, what do you hear every time? How are you? Oh, I'm just so busy. Or, everyone's just busy. And I guess it's like, to take 5 minutes just to start, and it's this heart-centered focused breathing I do, and that's the Add Heart Facilitator that I do.
Doing that today. I was doing that. I went to a salt cave.
Oh yeah. I love those.
And I'm gonna breathe from my heart, and it felt so good.
Yes, it really does. And that's truly when you have that connection to it all starts with self-love, the root of everything. And if you don't have that love for yourself, that's how you perceive, like, the outer world is a reflection of your internal
Yep.
you know,
Bottom
your vibe of how you feel about yourself. And that's where, when you get such self-awareness, when people come at you or something happens, you're just so like, oh, you can see like, it's not about me, you know, it's a reflection of what's going on with them. So, but it takes a while to get there. Yeah. Instead of taking it personally, like, oh my God, you know, they don't like me, or they cut me off, or get angry and lash out. It's like, no, you control how you respond, but you have to get to that point that, you know, you're able to do that and not react. And so that's where, you know, it's, I guess the homeopathic philosophy of living is, you know, looking at all at the root, you know, we look at the root cause. And so the root of people's behavior, you know, it's always about them, and your outer world, you know, is a reflection of what you're feeling and vibrating in that moment. So yeah, there's so much.
Like, talk about a like, oh yes, from the universe. Like, talk about, oh my God, that's hysterical. Okay, so now let's pause our convo for a sec. I'm gonna pop in a ad. Today I'm with Krista Rivet.
Yeah.
That's your last name, right? Rivet.
Rivet.
Ooh, French.
Originally, yes. Unfortunately, it didn't get passed down, the learning of the French. But.
So Krista Rivet, and we're just chatting about homeopathy. We're chatting about healing from the inside. I have a current list of some card pulls I'm going to do. I'm going to pop in a really quick ad and pause for a second. And then we have Cheryl, Jill, Laura, Jen, Althea is the current list. If you have any questions for Krista that she might be able to dive into a little bit. And of course, if you want to get a consultation with her, I'm going to pop her banner below again really quick. This is her website. You can check out more of her story, and we're just going to be chatting about all the things, all the vibrations, all the access that we have to really tap into the power within, which pretty much all of us at some point in time have forgotten. And it's a part of our human experience, and it's a part of duality, and it can be very painful at times, but we're here to remind you that we can all take the time to come back and connect to that. So pausing for a moment, let's pop into our ad.
Paratalk Radio is a member of radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word, that's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE DB Radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Brie, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I have Krista Rivet with me. I am so happy you're here. I already have people that are chatting about how they want consults with you. Cam says, my adult daughter has an inner ear infection that's recurring. So I popped your website. It's just your name.com. Is that the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
amazing. Hi, Ted, good to see you. I hope you're enjoying your self-care. Ted needed a little break. Ted, I feel like I can say this. You're one of the owners or the owner of the station. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Okay, so let's hop into the card pulls and we'll get back to our convo. So Cheryl, okay, so what I'm feeling is, let's tune into spirit. So you got the Knight of Cups. So as you can see from this beautiful portrayal, this is a very romantic card. I feel like there might be some disconnect, whether it's with yourself or a loved one. It could be a romantic relationship, a lack thereof. It could be a family member that you feel disconnected from, but some kind of like disharmony or a feeling of disconnection. So this card invites you to really open up to romantic gestures, bubble baths. This can also be, like I said, just towards yourself, a reconnection to deep self-love and nurturing. And so often we give everything else to everyone else. It's our go-to for so many of us. We do it without even thinking. So it's an invitation to come back to what are all the possibilities that you can connect to feel good. Intuitive, in touch with your emotions, know what you want, often signifies someone who is in love with the idea of love itself. So if you're feeling any kind of unrealistic expectations here, and that is for you to decipher, but perhaps you're looking for the other person to make you happy in some way. I do this quite frequently with different relationships in my life. And then I have to realize, oh yeah, my happiness comes from within. Everything we're talking about, it's actually not that person's responsibility to make me happy. It's actually, oh yeah, I can shift my vibration. So if that resonates with you, let me know. But that is the card. You have all the power of the romantic gestures for yourself and for others and for your family, etc. from within. Hi, Nikki. Nikki, you're the winner for the mini card reading from last week. Okay. Next is Jill. Whoops. Okay. Cheryl says definitely makes sense. Hits home. Thank you. Of course. And if you would like a deeper card reading to work with me further on energy healing, intuitive card reading, etc., coaching, just let me know, everyone. I feel like that goes without saying, but just wanted to share. Yes, Nikki, so excited. Okay, Jill, I'm excited too because I know you're going back to school. One card popped out and then I just want to... Did you start going back to school yet, Jill, or are you going to start that soon? Nice. Wow, okay, you got a lot of cool cards. Okay, so you got the Magician, which is basically you can manifest anything you want in your life. You got the Four of Wands, which is just joy, celebration, being with your loved ones, moving energy, just really feeling like you can celebrate. It's beautiful. Okay, you started. You got King of Swords, which is being very, very intellectual and making decisions that are connected from a space of logic in a really good way, though. So that's fabulous. And then you got Eight of Pentacles reverse, which I just want to check because it's so interesting because this is such a depiction of you being at school and learning. So I just want to check that as your advice card. So far, great. And that all popped out and I did not mean it to. So you got some bonus cards in there. Okay. Seeking shortcuts, burning out, sporadic output. So this is a reminder. This is not that this is happening. It's a reminder to have patience and determination with yourself, especially if you have any kind of frustration with going back to school and experiencing anything, feeling like you're not the expert. So often we feel like we have to be the perfectionist. We have to get everything right. We have to really excel. And I feel like you're used to excelling. I feel like you're used to being so good at whatever you do. Know that it's okay to not get everything instantly and to have patience and determination along the way. Put your love, soul, and your energetic essence into your work and bring it in a consistent, methodical way. Perfect your craft and imbue joy into the repetitive things you find yourself doing. Find flow in the details. And you can always shift into finding the inspiration when you need it. So that is your advice card. But overall, like, huge, amazing energy that's coming through for you. And I feel like it is about time. I feel like it's this like rediscovering of your power. So let me know if that resonates. Okay, Laura. Hi, Laura. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on. Let me know if you want a card pull. Popping in some card pulls in between our beautiful conversation of accessing the power from within and homeopathy and all of the beauty and the healing that we can access that we've forgotten about, that always forget about. It's a forever relearning. Okay. You guys keep getting all of these cards popping out. I just want one to replay. Spirit's like, I actually just want to have these long conversations tonight. And I'm like, Laura, what do you need to know? The Magician again. This is huge. This is like, I think, one of my favorite cards to get because it's such an important reminder. We can manifest anything we desire. We are magic, like Krista said before. We are the magic. The magic does not exist outside of us. It's the internal healing, but we are programmed to, when that thing comes in, then I'll be happy, right? It's the destination happiness. It's universe. Where's my manifestation? This is what I've been working on. Hello, let me know I'm doing the right thing. But in actuality, it is everything from within. It's all vibration. It's all thoughts, which invoke feelings, actions, and results. Our thoughts really form our belief systems over time. And you can create whatever you want. Skill, natural talents, powers of manifestation, creativity, and resourcefulness. And Laura, this is perfect for your business. Like, this is exactly you. It's all at your fingertips. Beautiful creator, go create. Activate that magic in your veins by focusing your energy, willpower, desire, and actions. And when you consciously step into your personal power and decide to shape the material world in this way, every breath in and every breath out is an opportunity to carve new meanings and new perspectives into reality. Every moment, every day. And it's like we feel like we're stepping into the same day over and over again sometimes, but it's truly just the vibration we're putting out is activating the same day. And that can be a good thing or that can be a bad thing depending on how we're looking at it. But there's always an opportunity to shift. And before we pop back into our convo, I want to share that I am doing a test group for a group specifically focused on manifestation, magic, motivation, mindset, all the good stuff. It's going to be 30 days, and it's going to be for women specifically who are like, I can commit to this. I can at least pop into the group for 10 minutes a day, but it's going to be only $11 for the 30 days because it is truly an experiment for me to hold space in this way to see what we can bring into our life in 30 days. So if that is like a hell yeah for anyone here,
I'll do that. I love that. Yeah.
We're starting the group already. And it's just because sometimes I'm going to be totally transparent. Sometimes in my coaching, sometimes in my business, I'm like, heck yes, I want to do this. I launch into something and it's not sustainable. But to me, this is lighting me up so much to provide magic for whoever wants to be a part of it to transform any area of your life in 30 days. And it's not about at the end of 30 days, I'll get the car, or at the end of 30 days, I'll have a relationship. It's more about the recognition of the profound shifts that we can have from within. So it'll be amazing. I'll pop that banner down. Yay, Laura, you're welcome. Jill says, just had a job of people. Yes. Yay. Okay, good. Amazing, Jill. Yes, you're getting that confirmation. You got this. And Laura says, thank you. So anyone else want to card pull, comment, back to the conversation because we have a lot to talk about. So where should we go next with this? Let's talk a little bit about our true power within and internal versus external healing.
Well, you had just kind of touched upon something about, what we're seeking and we want that next job or that next thing. And it begins with you to have the first step with change is awareness that it does come from within. And once you see that or have that awareness, then there's so many tools that can help cultivate that and nourish that. But we just are so programmed, and now more than ever, to look to the outside to fix us, that we've lost all sense of self. But yet we think we're the most intelligent thing on this planet. And it's kind of mind-blowing to me that, we think this, and you look around in nature and you just, you look at the birds, like I'd be thinking, how do they know which direction to fly, or the hibernation? And like, it's just built in, like butterflies, their transformation, and, caterpillars to butterflies. Like, we don't stop to even look at the intelligence that's been built into that. And we have that same thing, but our minds are more evolved, that we don't listen to that built-in intelligence. So it's so easy. And with all the noise, I always call it noise from the media, we've been so engrossed and bombarded by media more than ever, that we're so connected more than ever, but we're so disconnected more than we've ever been in the history of time. But yet we're more connected. We have the most advancement in medicine, but yet we're the most sick. So it's like, I guess it's like people aren't stopping to question that. And I guess I'm always, and ask questions and I look at all this and like, what is going on? And we're just so wrapped up in the busyness, and we equate busy with being a good thing, like successful. Like if you're not busy and you can take a nap, oh, well, you're not doing enough, or, and it's like, no. And we're almost shamed when we can just sit back and have a cup of coffee and have a nap or go outside. It's like, well, what are you doing? And we're just programmed that now parents are bringing their kids to 10 activities after school and this and that, and there's no family meals anymore. So it's just as a whole to have this awareness that what's going on in our universe, and that energy that is, that we're absorbing is chaos. And that affects our inner guidance, our compass, I call it, our wisdom, that it's so hard for us to connect to that. And we question our own, that gut feeling. We don't listen to it because of all this noise. Like, no, I've got to go to this university, I've got to go to this school, and I have to do this, I have to be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, like all this stuff to be successful. And so that's like the outside. We're so programmed, and we live our lives from the outside in, and we try to heal our bodies from the outside in. And again, the root of it, and it all starts from awareness that this is what's going on. And then start exploring there's more. And today more than ever, it's so hard to find that more because it's being censored, and it's being, we're just being told this is how you do it.
Yeah.
And not listening to that inner guide. And to touch upon the human design, that was one tool that profoundly changed my life, because I would live from the outside in thinking I dabble in 10 things at once. Like I'm a manifesting generator. So so much, but I didn't know that at the time. And I would shame myself or be like, oh, I just need to focus on one thing. And I'm like, And I'm like, but I'm supposed to focus on one thing and get it done. And then I learned about myself. So I became more aware of what works for me. Doesn't work for everybody. So again, following a business coaching plan, or you have to do it this way, or, it's like, no, you got to do it what works for you. But we're so disconnected that we don't know what is good for us. And so that's the first step is silencing noise, and learning more about yourself. And when you learn how you operate physically too, energetically, mental, emotionally, it all ties into one root, soul, spirit, whatever. but then we're connected. And that when you connect to yourself is when you connect to out there, to that universal energy and the vibe, the frequency. And like you said, what you are vibrating at, if we're living in fear, which most people are living in fear right now, you can't actually, scientifically it shows you can't access the part of your brain that thinks critical, like the critical thinking part, because you're in a fear state. And so you can't even start thinking rational thoughts sometimes. And then energetically, your vibration is low. And so you put that out there. So then you attract back, like attracts like, and that's the basis of homeopathic medicine. Yeah. So what you put out there, the universe delivers to you. So again, but then we blame. Oh, well, he cut me off. I spilled my coffee and this world sucks. Like I lost my job and she has it better, or he has it better and they didn't even work, or, we want to blame. And because that's easy, but we're in such a bitter state of resent and anger and fear. Fear is the root that anger, perfectionist, busy, all these things come from, right? There's only fear and love. And so fear is the root. And so if you're rooting from that, your vibration is, and then you physically get sick. So you're less, your susceptibility increases to what is going on out there when you're in a fear state, so the education needs to be put out there and the awareness of how powerful we are, and to raise that vibe. So you're literally vibrating at a higher, level. Right. So you attract that, and then you can accept, what comes your way, whether you like it or not. And again, it all begins with awareness. So I guess we could break down all this in like little modules of, because it all comes to the root of one thing. But acceptance, we don't want to accept what comes our way, right? We want to fight it. We're taught to fight it. Again, that's outside in living. Like, oh, I don't like that. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to get that job, or I'm going to do this. But it's kind of, the universe keeps handing you stuff that's making it hard for you, but you keep resisting. And that's coming from fear, because you can't accept. So when we take the time to accept what flows our way, feel it. It might not be good, and then you can respond rather than react. And then you can shoot like this. I believe, and I've lived it, that all these things that we think are negative or that we want to fight are lessons, but we see them as an obstacle that we have to overcome instead of absorbing. Like, let it be, sit with it. Okay, what can I learn from this? Instead of how can I fight this and suppress it and be angry at it, and and just get the easy way out, because we don't want to sit and feel. We want the easy way. Like my son, I can share another story, which again, I share a lot about. My third son was diagnosed with extremely rare form of cancer, like very rare. And he was 6 at the time. He just turned 13. And that was the beginning of, I did homeopathy before because my other son was a bit older. So homeopathy definitely helped with all that journey. But at the time, my mental, I wasn't in the place I am now. And that truly was the blessing that created where I am now. And at first I was still living in fear up till then. Like I thought, did I manifest this? Because I feared cancer so badly. Like I was like Googling, like I was so obsessed with medical stuff, and, I wanted to be a doctor and all these things, and I'm like, what is going on? But then I sat with it and I thought, okay, I'm sick of being like this. I'm sick of my own shit, my own stuff. I'm like, I'm tired of this. And I realized, I don't know whether it was the universe, I'm like, it's no one, like I need to change how I'm living, because I lived in fear, and, and so that was the blessing. And homeopathy helped me mentally get through that diagnosis, and what happened helped him physically and emotionally, mentally. And it truly was the best thing that's almost happened with our family. And never would you think that, right? No. And never would I wish that on anybody, but it happened. I couldn't change that. So that was the pivotal point for me. I couldn't change it.
That's the key too. And that everything you just shared, and thank you for sharing that. Like if someone would have come to you and been like, oh, well, this is all happening for a reason, you would have been like, go F yourself. You know what I mean? But you go through
it didn't take long. Yeah.
You found that, like you discovered that on your own through the pain.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm getting
fear that you couldn't even imagine, obviously being told this news. Like my first thought was the worst case scenario. And so, because it was literally a 1 in a million chance. Like that's what we were told. And I'm like, okay, this is something special that's happening to us. Why me? It could have been the pity party, right? And we all live in pity parties. The next person has it bad. And I guess that's it. Like, no, you're responsible for how you choose to respond. But the first step again is the awareness that you can choose, but we're just so programmed like to react and blame and just keep busy and sit down and, you know, and not feel and just fix me. And everyone's just so, you know, and so I guess to be empowered that, you know, you have the power to shift that. And that's where I love homeopathy so much, because it truly is a medicine. It's you know, everybody now has anxiety and depression and especially now. And it's so what's happening. It's so unsettling. It's so unsettling.
It's so, and I look at pretty much all of my friends, like not to throw any friends.
But
like,
what happens, right?
Not all of them, but many people my age, we are experiencing the same things. And like you said, like a like, so it's my friends who I'm attracting, but I'm also like, this isn't just us. This is the true pandemic in a lot of ways. Like this is happening.
Absolutely. And so you get a medication again to help ease that feeling, like that sensation, I guess, that you're feeling, but you're not getting as to why, because your anxiety is different than your friends and from the next person. And that's what homeopathy is so unique. So to say, oh, I need somebody, what do you, like, I get the question like, well, what do I take for anxiety or depression? Well, there's like literally 50 minimum, if not that, because it's designed for, it's like, that's why I equate it to human design for your life. It's homeopathy for your health is the same as human design for your life, because it's so unique and you learn about you. And that's where the question in the intake is so long, because it's about you, you know, everything about you. And it's not you're not your diagnosis, but we've, again, from the outside in, we live from that. We label. And I don't like labels. And it's a whole other story. I could go into that too, being labeled with some of my children at certain things. And I'm like, no, I refuse that, because once you're labeled, you can become that. And there's certainly a place for labels and diagnosis, absolutely. But as kind of the way it is today, you know, we all want kind of a quick diagnosis and a quick fix. But then you're on like 10 different things too, and you're not getting to the root, you know. And I love the analogy of, you know, I write a lot, and writing, which I hope to share a little more soon. Yes. You know, a tree, you know, you're not going to nourish a tree by throwing food at its leaves, you know, or cutting down, like taking out a weed. If you just pull it without getting the root, what happens? It grows back and probably 10 more, right? So, and then if you want to nourish a flower, where do you go? The root. And so it's so deep within, like you've got to get to the root. And that's, you know, the deep feeling of love and cultivating that in yourself so you can have expansion and grow and not just, you know, I guess shrink. And, you know, that's why I love the inside out. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm just going to pop in. You're good to stay on for a few more minutes, right? Are you still?
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. I'm just going to pop in a quick commercial, and then I'm going to I have Jen, Althea, and Jess have cards. Let me know if anyone else wants a card pull. We're with Krista Rivet tonight. This is an amazing conversation. It's, you know, it invokes some fear for many of us that have, you know, been are dealing now or have dealt with, I think, illness or disease or lower vibrations or anything, but it invokes so much hope as well.
Yes.
And it's this true, it's a miracle. And we are.
Yeah, I would love to add, like, that's where the shift with me, because I lived in fear literally up until, you know, my late 30s, my early 40s. And I'm like, I was tired of living that way. Like, I'm just like, I'm sick of this. Like,
what, like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not.
And then my son got diagnosed. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, I was always so scared to be happy and embrace life because I thought something bad's going to happen, like superstition. And then it did. So I went through all that. I'm like, oh my God. But now I don't live in fear. And because I know the power of our bodies, and I know I can accept what comes that way, or my way, you know, and it's not easy. Trust me. Like, I have times and gets, you know, my vibes low. Like, I'm human too. We all are. But I know, you know, the root and how powerful when you change internally, how your life will change.
It's so powerful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you do and your passion. It's just, it flows up. so strongly. So I'll be right back. Quick commercial.
Yep.
We'll be back for a couple card pulls. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, Jen, pulling you a card. What does Jen need to know tonight from Source Energy? Okay, so you got the World, and it came up reversed. You got the Lovers on the books. Lovers. So the World, it just came up with this. So I'm going to see the advice that comes with this beautiful card. The World is completion, joy, happiness, everything you could ever want. And the reverse is a deep need to follow through, feeling like your dreams are unmet, or feeling a lack of focus. So it's almost like you don't really quite believe that this is yours, and this is yours. It is yours right now. This vibration, this love, this completion, this wholeness, this is you. Like, this is you, period, right now, always. It's just that we forget. And it happens to every single one of us. So the advice here is you're on the right path. You really are. And it's the remembrance and the coming back to your power. And maybe you want to be in the manifestation group. Consciously step into the world's ascension energy and welcome a beautiful shift as your inner spiritual landscape merges with your outer reality. It's everything we're talking about tonight. And the work is hard at times, but it's the work from within that shifts everything outside of us. As you reach this stage of fruition, remain focused. You are on the right track. Don't slacken your resolve as you glimpse the magic at the end of the long journey, because it's time to follow through and complete the cycle. Even in shadow, the World is a positive card. So this is a positive card, even with the reverse, that signals bliss, happy endings with oodles of positive energy along the way. I accept this gift of completion and I ascend to new levels of awareness and wholeness. I am love. I just feel like you've been doing so much learning and you are at this ascension, which is beautiful. It's amazing. So let me know if that feels good. Okay, next is Althea. Hi, Althea. One card for Althea. What does she need to know tonight? Source, Spirit. Whoa! Spirit's like, hello. Oh my gosh, Althea, you got the romantic card as well. And once again, doesn't need to mean a romantic partner. It can mean relationships with anyone, but it's this connection back into nurturing yourself, loving yourself, whether it's baths, whether it's flowers, whether it's self-love, self-care, self-appreciation, you know, romancing yourself. And Althea says, God help me. Oh my gosh, I love you. I just want to see if we can get a clarifying card for this too. Okay, well, that's a little too many. Can we get a card for just clarifying? Is this external? Like, is this a manifestation or is this internal? So you got 8 of Swords. And it came up right. At almost 65, we do not need romance. Oh my gosh, I love it. We always need romance, even if it's just romance for ourselves. Okay. An opportunity to let go of an old story. So perhaps the old story is the I don't need romance. And even if you are firm in the belief you do not need romance externally, I trust you, trust yourself. Make sure it's not coming from a space of fear. Make sure it's coming from solid, like, yes. But also the opportunity to release the story that maybe, maybe it's I don't deserve something, or I don't deserve to be nurtured. I don't deserve to be taken care of. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, I guess so. You're chatting with my mother-in-law. The card that she got last time was the Lovers. So I think that there might be a little connection going on here between you two with having these potentially romantic relationships in your 60s and thriving. So that's what I have to say. Oh, you're in love with your grandsons. Yes, just make sure you are nurturing and loving and caring for yourself. That's the biggest thing here that I got. I love it. Okay, Althea. Next is Jess. Hi, Jess. One card for Jessica. Okay, you got 3, 2. What is up with this? Spirit is like, I just want to tell all the people. Oh my gosh, Jess, I think I just saw the 6 of Pentacles. What does Jessica need to know tonight from her guides? Why am I not surprised? King of Wands. Also not surprised that Margot is next for a card pull. This is the Aries energy, the Aries season. We are in the fiery, the action, the resolve, the going after your dreams, the not taking anyone's crap, the stepping outside of the limiting belief stories, the programming, everything that we have all been taught to believe. This is you stepping into your fullest power. Go, Jess. Go, Jess. Entrepreneurial spirit, natural born leader, ideas that can be ultra successful, creative visionary, timelessness, success, fire, charismatic, natural born leader, ground your vision through the wildly novel expression of big ideas. And if you find yourself getting tripped up by the minutia of the everyday, recruit, help, and map out the bigger picture. Holler passionately. Invite others to see what you see. Yep. That's all I have to say. Margot says, get it, Jess. Okay. And then, of course, Margot with the Aries energy. Jessica is a Sagittarius. Margot is an Aries. All the fire. Okay, you got 3 of Pentacles, but reverse. 3 of Pentacles is a very, very positive card. And this came through, Margot, the other day for us. So I think it's just a reiteration of the energy you already know. So it's essentially encouraging happy endings and working with others in cooperation and knowing there is no limit that we can manifest together. So potentially feeling right now like you are not trusting of others and you're wanting to shift into that energy, but almost like I have to take it on myself because I want to make sure that I get this done correctly. So remember that relationships are the base of your well-being. If you're having trouble with others, seek to align goals in order to cultivate peaceful unions. Mutually beneficial relationships place equal importance on each person's wisdom and way of being in the world, and everyone has something uniquely enchanting to bring to the table. So your affirmation to step into is I step into the vibration of conscious collaboration. And it's okay if you kind of feel in that pendulum, like I am independent and like here I am right now. I am my own source of power. That's an amazing way to be. But also just recognize, are you shutting the door anywhere on people that you actually can and should be collaborating with and offering that love to others and knowing you are going to receive it back to yourself tenfold with anything that you do and knowing that happy endings are on the way. So that is yours, Margot. Okay. Hi, Deb. Okay, so let's get back to chatting a little more. If anyone else wants a card pull before the end of the show, we can go till 8:30, and that is our official cutoff time. So I think what I want to dive into next, and let me know if you're feeling this, but I want to talk more about you being an ad heart facilitator and the power that we can access. So being able to share something with folks that are listening now that they can bring into their lives right now, and the power of the heart space.
Yeah, so it's so amazing because like I said, it links. That's the source of our power. Literally, like the heart is more than a physical organ. Like obviously, we need that to pump our blood.
Right.
But it's the most. We've always been taught the brain is our primal, the go-to. Our intelligence. Which obviously it is, but the connection it has with the heart is just not known. And that the heart, like I had mentioned before, is physically developed in utero before the brain. And that alone is interesting because it's, when people start to really think about that. And again, looking even back to the power of how powerful we are growing a baby, like it's just, can't get over the wisdom we have that our bodies can do to heal itself and to grow. So we just have to nourish that. So tapping into that power of the heart to expand that electromagnetic field that we give off, to heal your body too, and stimulate this is, it's just, why aren't we doing this more? Why don't we know more of this? But yeah, when you connect, there's just easy steps, and it's just understanding the power of the heart. First of all, like the stuff I was explaining, and you can go on your own and start researching that. And it's been shown that we send more messages from the heart to the brain than vice versa. But again, our brains is the outside in. It's, all the noise, and that has created these stories that we don't listen to that. We just ignore it or we suppress it. And that festers and grows. And we've already discussed kind of what can happen. So to tap into that, it's, it's self-regulation. So to learn that, and it's being taught in some schools now, it's like meditation. But it's just almost easier. So it's like breathing into your heart space. And it's once you learn, you can do it with your eyes open, because then you can kind of incorporate that into any time you're at the store or in a car or talking with someone. But to begin, if you close your eyes and even put your hands, and eventually, like I said, you can do it without, and breathing into that space. And the easiest thing is like heart coherence, we call it. So connecting and cultivating, bringing a memory of something that feels compassionate. Like I think of my dog often, that smell or that feeling you get with pets, and you feel that. And sometimes I'll feel almost like a physical warming in my chest. And then you expand that and you give it to yourself. And then you expand that outwardly and you give it to someone else you love. And when you're in that moment, I have actually, I was just doing it before. This is, device I use. Yeah. So I have an app, and it will tell me if I'm in heart coherence or not. And so our heart rate variability. So it's not how your heart's beating, it's the space in between each beat. And you want that to be regulated. And when we're anxious and living from the mind, it's, again, once you research, and I can share all this too. Actually, I just started my newsletter. Talk about fear. I'm just doing it. So I'm doing every Monday. Hopefully I'm going to get this out. It's all going to be on this. So you can sign up, and that should be coming out Monday on exactly this topic.
Is it on your website? Can people?
Yeah, a pop-up should come up to sign up, or at the bottom, you can sign up for that. But yeah, so it tells me when I'm, and when I'm breathing into that and I cultivate those feelings, it's in the zone. And then my mind takes over and I start thinking of something and it goes off. But yet my heart hasn't changed. Like it's so fascinating. So yeah, it's a simple tool. The heart lock-in technique is the kind of the most basic, which is what I just described. So you just breathe into that heart space, and it can be as little as like 2 minutes. You just take that time and breathe and feel and almost visualize it going into your heart space. And we're taught so much to breathe into the belly and all that, which is absolutely, there's so many different types of breath, but just to feel it. And it's almost that warming sensation through your body. And then you expand that outwardly, and you try to, and you could kind of tap into that throughout the day. And so that's one of the tools I was saying earlier, that's helped me. Once you're aware that you do have the power, you kind of need some guidance or tools to kind of start using it. And so that's a simple one for sure.
Do you have an example? obviously the power of love and the power of that is so profound in itself and makes us feel incredible. Do you have any fun example of doing that and seeing something that actually physically manifested in your 3D reality, like a client calling you or a friend calling you or anything, like seeing?
Yeah, I guess it happens all the time now. Like once, I'm sure it happens with you, that now you're kind of, you're so aware. Like, and I don't know if I'm sure you have signs in the universe, and mine was a blue jay. And so, well, I have a few of them, but yeah, the first time I tapped in, not even really understanding heart, like I haven't, not really studying it, but I tapped in, and these flock of blue jays was literally like in my yard. I'm like, what? Like, you rarely see one, or, or I'll hear a squawk, and it's always when I feel like in alignment is the other term, right? When you're aligned or you're connected, when you're aligned with yourself within or connected to your heart is like when your body will heal and you're outward. But I don't know, let me think off the top of my head of,
I mean, that's a beautiful example.
Yeah, I guess just the universe, because then I'll put it out there. And I guess talking more about signs to help that awareness, I'll throw it out there, but then you can't be attached to that. Like, oh, okay, I need help right now, or show me a sign. And then you're looking like, oh my God, was that a blue jay, or was that the butterfly, or whatever it is that you want to ask for, but you let it go. And then it will just come when it's ready. So you have to just have the awareness to be observing, and observation. That's another thing, to observe, and not be attached and seeking, to be above, literally. But yeah, and sometimes things will come, and I'm just trying to think again of other, I have many, but now I can't think of any.
Well, the other day I had, actually, it was like a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago or so, I'm not even sure. I was like, I really want to get photos taken. I kind of rebranding. I have more corporate photos, but I'm just like feeling a different vibe. But I was like, I don't want to spend a ton of money on them right now. And I just kind of put it out. I didn't realize typically when we have our easiest manifestations, we're not even realize we're doing it because we're constantly manifesting. It's like, okay, I'll just, universe. Exactly. I didn't even say universe. I was like,
when you're not trying, you're not attached, right?
It'll work out. It'll work out. And then I saw my friend post on Instagram. Her name is Jackie Law. She's a fabulous photographer now that I know. And she was like, anyone want to do pictures on Tuesday? And instantly my sacral, my gut, being a generator, of course, was lit up. And I'm like, oh. And I'm going through this whole thing where I'm only doing things that light me up. Like I'm starting to dismantle people pleasing. I'm starting to dismantle, like you said, the busyness, the I need to do this. And it was the universe bringing me back something to be like, here you go. You put that out, you let it go, and now here it is. But if I hadn't paid attention, like you said, I would have missed it. Yeah. I would have missed an opportunity. And so it's just really simple things like that.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And having that awareness to listen to your physical body. And that's, again, but we ignore it because we listen to what comes up here, and that's where I don't personally, I don't do pros and cons lists, because it's like, logically it's like, oh, there's like 10 pros and one, or, con, but it just doesn't feel right. But we so often will go with that because on the outside, it's what's expected. It's, it'll make more money, but yet in your gut. And then how many times when people are in their 50s are leaving their career to go open their flower shop or their pottery place, right? Like you're not listening. It was always there, but it was squashed. And then they probably went through with that unhappiness. And that's, again, I have this conversation all the time. It's like defining success. And we're so, as a culture, to define success from the outside in, like what school you went to, your degrees. And it's like, it's about the experience and what can you bring? What have you lived? What do you feel? Who are you? And we equate who we are with what we do or what we have accomplished. And that's certainly part of it. Yeah. But it's like, how connected are you with that too? And on paper, it's like, and for me, I kept that disconnect from myself, which I always, like I said, knew in my gut, but I ignored it and kept seeking more, because it was just so much easier to take another course than have to put myself out there and start educating and talking, which was truly my passion forever, to start sharing. But I would just take another course because I love learning too. I can't get enough courses or books or, and I just want to keep reading. But I'm like, I realized I'm doing this self-sabotage, like, because I don't want to get uncomfortable to start talking about what I know and sharing. It's just easier to sit and grab a book.
Totally.
But yeah, listening, we don't take the time to listen. And we're doing such a disservice to ourselves. And, but it's hard because the pressure is on, out from outside.
I
And
know.
our
Really.
bodies are compensating for that because we're so sick, and again,
The
back
energy
to
go somewhere.
yeah, exactly. And what I do, it's like another way to look at homeopathy too, is connecting the dots. So someone might come for eczema or a skin condition, and I'm asking them all about their mental, emotional, and the people sometimes they're like, well, why do why do you care what happened when I was 10, or my parents' divorce, or that I was abused? But that is the most important to the physical, like the mental, emotional, and we have a hierarchy of, what ranks, because that is, there's a root. And all the physical things, so you might have a skin condition, but then I might find out, oh, you have a lot of gastro issues, because that goes hand in hand a lot, like irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's disease or constipation, because your energy is like tight, or people have, issues down there when they're nervous, or the anxiety. And so anyway, all of that I connect. It's like connecting the dots. So I take the whole picture, and come up with one remedy. And so it's so profound. But yeah, so again, everything we're talking about, and
everything goes
homeopathy
together. Everything
helps support everything we're talking. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of all these things, but it's all coming down to our core life force.
What I'm doing right now is, I think, rediscovering my passion for what I actually like, because what I think I did was, I was like, I'm going to become a coach, and that's going to make me happy because it's what I'm supposed to do. But what actually is there's so many different ways to be successful, being self-employed. But more than anything, success to me is, am I lit up?
Yeah.
Am I passionate about what I do? Am I bringing others joy? Am I talking about the things like we're talking about, that we're called to talk about? Am I talking about the limiting beliefs that everyone's connected to, like productivity is my worth, or something is wrong with me, or I'm not good enough, or I have to work harder, I have to do more. I'm not allowed to be burnt out. I'm not allowed to stop. I'm not allowed to show weakness. And so, yeah, that's the biggest thing, I think, as we're wrapping up now. What I would tell everyone is, like, start to connect to what truly ignites you, brings you joy, and not from here, not from what brings me joy. Like, yes, it's nice to be curious, but to actually start to feel that in your body and feel that rush of excitement and feel the passion. And like you said, if it's multiple things, great. Like, if we like to have our hands in so many things, that's okay too, because to be quite honest, focusing on one thing is just another limiting belief story.
And understanding, like, there's so many tools, like tapping really helped me, emotional freedom technique, understanding my human design, the heart mat, Kundalini yoga was a big one, like breath of fire and all the breathing. It's, that's not a very common type of yoga. And that really was, helped me a lot. So a lot of things, to help facilitate that. And then homeopathy is the medicine that works at that same level to help dislodge that. And just to go quickly too, acute things. Like, I think I saw someone write something about an ear infection. So obviously homeopathy, and that's my goal too, now, is to put together a course perhaps of how to use it at home. Like if you have a fever, what remedies to go to. And that's so different acutely than chronic. Like, we've been talking more about a chronic, like to see someone like me, chronic, like lifelong stuff. But in the moment, if you have a cold or, then there's definitely a handful of remedies, and you can learn those easily, instead of taking a drug to suppress it, like a fever suppressing. But yeah, tapping into that power. And again, a big thing, which you had talked about earlier that I want to talk about, is becoming. Like, I feel, a myth that we all believe we have to be, who do you want to become? And I don't like that. That doesn't, because I feel like we already are that. It's more peeling away the layers that's keeping us trapped from being that. And then you can become more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're stuck inside ourselves. And I write about that a lot, being stuck. So I feel like I was stuck as a prisoner, kind of in my own head, keeping me trapped. And you feel like that conflict, that fight. And so you peel it away. And then you actually always have been that person or that thing that you And then when you vibrate at that, you can vibrate even higher and attract and I guess become, or, grow, or, become empowered and, expand, I guess is the word, rather than become. So yeah, there's so many tools to kind of help peel it away and quiet that mind, that noise.
Well, we're wrapping up now, but that's a beautiful way to close. It's like we already are, like I always say, we are, have been, and always will be. It's just a process of remembering.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So check Krista's stuff out at her website. I'm sure we'll be collaborating more on things and talking.
I would love that.
And just talking about all the things.
Yes.
I love it. And thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Much. It was amazing. Thank you, everyone, for hopped on. Check out WLFE DB Radio. Go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page. Check out my Facebook pages. Check out Krista's stuff. And I hope you guys have a fabulous Friday night. I will be popping in the outro now, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining Card Pulls and Coffee with Lindsay. Every episode is a joy sprung from a tree of life. We hope you'll join us next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Remember to share and like and follow. Until next week, let the stars you follow keep you safe.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.